love it.
Well, you know, because I spent the time outside in the cold. You were just sitting there trying to figure out why your gammy iPhone fake watch keeps going the wrong way, and it's
Stop it. I was cooking you a dinner. Stop it.
You were spending the whole time going, what's going on with this? Darren, where are you facing there? I'm facing northwest. I'm facing southeast.
I'm Gavin Hardcastle, and you're listening to the very tremendous Irish Photography Podcast.
Hello, and you're very welcome back to the Irish Photography Podcast. And yes, the king is back in his chair in front of everyone, especially above Darren. That's all that matters, really, to be totally honest with you. And like I said, you're very welcome to the episode of the podcast. Darren, you there, yeah? No, Darren's gone. So I'll just do this podcast on my own because we're better off.
Of course I'm here.
Sugar, he's here. God damn it. He's here.
Of course I'm here, boy. How's it going? Welcome to the podcast. Thanks very much for hosting this episode. I can now take a back seat. Off you go.
No bother. No, come here. It was actually great to get back on the podcast again. I won't lie. Kind of missed it ever so slightly, but yeah. Exciting times lie ahead because I know we've got some lovely guests lined up coming in the next few weeks, and looking forward to kind of chatting with some people around the country in photography, not just in Ireland, but abroad also.
True story.
Yeah.
True story.
So, Darren, we won't get into nitty-gritty details of what we've been doing the last few weeks, but let's get into something that we just experienced as of late. So some people would have guessed already that we have been away on another trip. Is that your dog in the office? I can hear his little pitter-patters around the place.
That is my dog. That is Vader coming in here, yeah. So if you hear some noises and some whinges in the background, no, it's not a hostage that I've got tied up. It's my dog.
All right. So look, a lot of people would have seen in social media channels and our pictures online and our vlogs, of course, that we did get to go to Achill Island, the home of Brendan Gleeson and the Dumb Boy. So what did you think of the whole experience? Or will we rewind to the very, very start?
Let's rewind to the very, very start, because, I mean, look, we didn't just go there because Brendan Gleeson had a house that he did some things in. We were wanting to go there for a long period of time. It just so happened that they made a movie during the meantime. And we've been thinking about this, I don't know for how long. I mean, a couple of years anyway, at least. So, you know, we were supposed to go as my inaugural trip on for my van. Yeah. When I got my van life and such like that. And I mean, look, I know I've said it already that, you know, we couldn't go. I mean, you know, unfortunately, you know, you had some bad news.
Yeah. So literally we had our vans packed, ready to go. And all of a sudden I got a phone call and believe it or not, my mother passed away. So, you know, it was terrible thing to go through. But look, it is what it is. But look, the good thing about it is that the fact that we were able to reschedule a trip and then finally go, but we picked the wrong time to go.
Well, you know, but you know,
well,
what?
It wasn't
the wrong time. I mean, we had to plan it, so we had no choice in regards to what the weather was going to deal for us. I mean, you know, off we did, headed up the road to the unknowns, and knowing what was going to happen. Was it going to be nice weather? Was it going to be clear skies like we had down in Dingle? You know, was it going to be mixed weather like we had in the Isle of Skye? Was it going to be cloudy weather like we had up in the Giant's Causeway, or was it going to be something different? And boy, did we get something different. That is 100% sure we got something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you know, there's one point I suppose I want to make on that, Todd, you know, and I think it's an important one too, is that, you know, prior to now, when I went on the road trips with you, we shared the van, you know, so we'd travel together, we'd have the chats together, you know, we'd build our expectations up together. Now we were traveling in convoy. And I remember at the time I rang you and I went, I need to talk to you because we need to, you know, talk as we're driving along and what we're experiencing, what we're going to do. Otherwise, it's just driving in two separate cars, effectively, or two separate vans. So, I mean, like, that's how I felt when I would have rang you. But I suppose you had the same thought as well, is that, you know, it's good to have the crack along the way, you know?
Yeah, the camaraderie of it is amazing. And it's something that I recommend that everyone do, like, you know. But come here, let's not tell a lie. There's times there where you will get on each other's nerves, you know, once in a 100%. While. And, like, it's like anything else. Like, you know, you kill your brother or your sister when you're growing up. You fight with your wife sometimes over something stupid. And if you didn't do the same thing with your travel partner, there'd be something wrong with you, you know. But I did miss the camaraderie of that trip of going along with you. So like, it was funny, like you said, you know, we had to ring each other. We literally rang each other. We were on the phones and we were traveling along the whole way up there along the country. And I'd say we were on the phone for an hour and 35 minutes when I looked at it last. And we were crossing over the bridge into Achill Island. And I was like, Darren, will you leave me alone? Like, Jesus Christ, I'm trying to get a bit of just trying to be alone.
No, that's not the truth. No, to be fair. And what actually happened was that I had rang you and I went, hey, do you know what? We're just passing over the bridge here now. No, we're not. Yeah, we are looking at the maps there. We're going to be over there.
Oh my God.
15 seconds. What? Yeah, I'm looking at the map here. I see a big void. That's water, isn't it? I see land on my map. Next thing, all of a sudden, mine updated. There was land. So we had a fair bit of distance to go before we went on to Achill Island. And you know what? I mean, even arriving onto Achill Island, it was a nice feeling. It was darkness, you know, so we couldn't really see what we were looking to see. But we went straight over to Keene Bay. And I remember even driving along that road and going, there's a big cliff down here, man. This is like going to be unbelievable, because that road is actually stunning. And then, as you said, you know, the first place we would have gone to visit is Brendan Gleeson's gaff, like.
Yeah.
And what did you think of Keene Bay?
Well, I actually experienced it many, many years ago as a child with my parents, because they had a camper van also. It was a Mercedes Sprinter, but this thing was from 1980 something, like, and it was called a Banana Mobile. It was painted all yellow. It was disgusting. Wow. Absolutely disgusting looking, but it was brilliant. It had everything. It was massive. It had like beds, it had toilets, it had everything that you'd need, cookers, and it was huge. And he had like roof racks up on top with multiple roof boxes, so he could store stuff over. And we used to go over to France all the time, simply because we were fucking smuggling wine into the country by the bottles loads. Like it got so bad. Sorry, now we're totally getting off topic. It was so bad that one time we came home from France, there was boxes of wine from the back of the van up to the top, and he didn't even want us putting on the seats because he'd wine in the seats there. So he had us sitting on wine boxes coming through the ports and everything. And you could always see, I'll never forget it, you could see my dad shitting it going past not customs, but wherever they pull you in, you know, to check your van. And he had copious amount of wine in the van, man. It was hilarious. Oh,
so if anybody from the Customs and Excise Department is listening to this podcast, this is all fake news. It never happened. It was always a figment of Dermot's young imagination. But anyhow, yeah. So you've been to Keene Bay before, yeah?
As a child, yeah. And I absolutely loved it. But when I was there now this time, it's like I could still remember everything vividly. It was weird, like, and the one thing I can't remember though is the cottage. I don't remember that being there, but it could have been there. I don't know, but I remember going down onto the beach and playing and having a bit of crack and everything like that with my parents and my brother, and they were good fun times, like, you know. But to see it now, first thing that stood out to me was the roof of the hut. It didn't look very appealing. Like one side of it was kind of rusty red, and the other side was nice and clean. And it was a contrast that I didn't like for my photograph. I even got to the stage when I was editing the photograph that I took there, or was that would I copy, you know, one part of to the other. And then as they're going, people are going to slate me online. So I said, just leave it as it is, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, look, it was very nice. You know, I mean, it's a lovely spot. We weren't blessed, as we said, in regards to any nice conditions, because when we started photographing it, we got absolutely pissed on a regular basis. My camera nearly had a whoopsie and died, which I was lucky I saved that. And then we said, okay, you know, we'd go off in and explore around Achill. I mean, we ended up going back to Keene Bay for the second night. And I didn't even bother getting up for the sunrise because, you know, I was
You were hungover.
Yeah,
you had a few beers. You were hungover. I know it. Don't lie.
Yeah. But you know, I was on a road trip, like.
No, stop. You were like, I'm feeling sick. I'm coming down with a cold. You were in your hole. You were hungover.
Yeah, well, you know, partly yes, partly no. But you decided though, and in fairness to you, hats off, because you know there was no way I was going to do it. But you decided you wanted to take the hike from Keene Bay up, which I've now heard since is actually the hardest way to go.
Is it?
Because there's another way that you can go from the reservoir. Remember the reservoir area, the water treatment plant up along the road?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can go from there, and it's actually like through a valley and a lot smoother instead of directly
the way I went. Yeah, great.
Tell us about your hike.
Yeah. Do you know what? Before I tell you about the hike, Darren, when we got up for the, well, not when we got up for the sunrise, when I got up for the sunrise, I finally kind of got a shot that I'm happiest about of the whole trip. That was my favorite shot, and haven't even released it yet. I haven't. It's just been sitting on my computer.
It's a nice
I
shot.
went down onto the beach, and over to the left-hand side, there's all these kind of rocks, and kind of there was no composition jumping out at me, but the sun was very, very harsh. It was now, to be fair. And whatever way, I got the tripod very low to the ground, and it kind of made the rock look way bigger than it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sun just perching out on the left-hand side as the sun star. And it just, 2-second exposure, it just really, really worked very well. And it did kind of a letterbox crop to kind of make it just jump out a bit more. And it definitely is my favorite image of the whole trip. I really, really like that one, man.
Fair play to you for doing it. You know, I mean, I looked out the window and went, sod that. Sun is too high. I'm not bothered going down. You were like, come on, we're going to miss it. Oh, yeah, okay, grand by. Off you go.
Yeah.
I was gone. So, while I was asleep then, you came back and you said, okay, I want to go for your hike. So go, tell us about the hike. So, simple hike, wasn't it?
Hold on a second now. So we had kind of mapped out where we were going, oh yeah, look, we'll go down to the bay, we'll get these photographs. The next day we'll go up Crohan as a team, as a unit, right? And then it came to it, oh, Darren's still feeling cold. He's got the shivers and everything. I won't be able to make it up. Darren, you're going. I'm not going. Darren, you're going. I'm not going. And he kind of sulked for a bit, but he kind of, I kind of had to leave him there because he did look a small bit sick, to be fair. So I decided to go lone wolf anyway, lo and behold. And to my surprise, I did go up the hard way. Until now, I didn't realize. I thought that was the only way up.
Mm-hmm,
but the hike wasn't bad. It was. I didn't think it was very, very bad.
Well, when you came straight back down, I went, how was it? Oh, that was tough. No, right, yeah, that was a tough one.
No. The toughest part was like the start of it, because it's so boggy and mushy, and mushy is that's a new word. You know, word. So like it's just, you want to have your Gore-Tex on you, like, you know, so Gore-Tex shoes, you know, and stuff like that. So like at one stage my foot did get submerged in mucky water, like, you know, it's horrible, but the advancement of shoes is great. Gore-Tex is fantastic. I'm still bone dry going up the hill. So at parts there is, it was kind of hard, but the majority of it wasn't too bad. Like, you know, it's not very high to get to the first point where the kind of the ruined kind of houses on the edge. And I didn't find an actual photograph that I wanted to get that could really portray the kind of scene that it is. Just kind of took more record shots than anything else. But it wasn't until I started walking away from it, then you could kind of see your kind of shots that you could get with it further away in the distance, which I really, really liked. But I decided to continue along the cliff edge up another bit. And I think it gets to like 650 or 700 meters, is it?
656 meters.
656 meters, something like that, yeah. Up to the top of it, which I did. I went the whole way up and I really enjoyed it. Some really cool footage there with the drone where you could see kind of these kind of, I've never seen it before in real life, you know, these kind of sea storms. Do you remember you seen it in the photographs? And it's just, it was really, really cool. And not only did I get one, but I got two. So there's one over to over this side, and you got another one over this side, and they're very far apart. And it was just, it was something really cool that I'd never experienced before, never seen before. So I was really ecstatic about that. But that part of the climb where you go up that peak, that was a bit harder now. All right, there was parts where I was going, oh my God, the lactic acid was building in my ankles, as you would say. You know.
Meanwhile, I was back in the van, nice and warm, fast asleep. You know, and I mean, like when we said, you know what, we'll go off and we'll go exploring. Speaking about, you know, exploring new places, I wanted to go find Achill Henge, but like I was thinking, you know what, while there, I might as well go look at it. If you're ever there, don't bother, because number one, the road goes along with signs and the road just ends and you have to go through some farmer's land by the looks of it. But apparently it's just a big circle of concrete that was just put up out of protest or something like that against the local council, I heard. But yeah, so that's one thing that I wouldn't recommend. But the whole time we were there, we were looking across the bay at these incredible, like the cliffs there are stunning, you know?
Yeah.
And even from a coastal area, it's absolutely phenomenal. So like I decided that, you know, we'd go somewhere different, and we could have gone up north to the northwest of the island, or we could go to the southeast of the island, and we said we go over to the southeast to the other side of the island, on the opposite side of those cliffs. And you know what? I mean, it was all right. It was nice enough.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's on the wild. Or not, no, it's called the Atlantic Road, I think it is. Is the road that they, and the area is stunning there. But Christ, man, we felt that what came through that Baltic weather that they had.
Darren, it was pretty bad now. Like even that night when we were sleeping, like I'd forgot my winter blanket, which was suffice to minus 20 degrees. I didn't forget it. I just took it out of my van and I never put it back in, and I suffered, man. I was just perished inside the van, but never again am I going to, like my minus 20 sleeping bag is in the van now. It's not coming out. It's staying there forever and ever. I'm never taking it out again because I never want to.
And it was just cutting, man. That was just unbelievably cold. Like, and when I was thinking back on it, like, I guess I did have a bit of a cold. I couldn't get warm. I had 2 coats on me and everything else. But still, it would just cut right through you. And we were exposed up there as well on those cliffs, like, you know. The curry that you made was great. It made me nice and warm, like, you know. That was bang on. But like we had said, you know what, let's get the hell out of Dodge here. Achill wasn't really great for us from a weather conditions point of view. So you had said you wanted to go somewhere you hadn't gone before. Where was that?
Oh, Derry Clare. Yeah. John, the way I just said Derry Clare, I sounded so disappointed when I said it, but I was really excited to go there because I've seen so many fabulous images from there, and I've always wanted to go there, but it was just meh. It was like conditions were shite.
Absolutely, they were like. But you know what? Just rewind the tape there a bit, because when we were going there, I said to you, you know what? Look, you put it into the sat nav there. Sure enough, we can go. And you were leading the way, and I was following behind you. And we're driving down this road, and you ever get this kind of a dose of deja vu, and you go, "I've seen this already."
Yeah.
We actually came through because we drove around the same road twice, and I was like, he's going towards Galway. It's out towards Clifton. So I was like, okay, Dad, hang on a second. And we had the walkie-talkies, which didn't work very far. You know.
Oh wait, I still have your one in my van.
I know. So I have these walkie-talkies. Get walkie-talkies if you're ever together with another person. It's always handy, but don't get ones that only go 20 meters. Mine are supposed to go 5 kilometers, but I think they've seen better days. So I was like, Dad. I was like, all right, hang on. So I had to ring you and said, okay, pull in here, man. I think it's down this way. And all of a sudden, you weren't that far away from it. But when we rocked up, it was the night before, and it was cold then as well, man. You know, I mean, it was Baltic. But as you say,
shocker.
Like, I didn't enjoy the time in Derry Clare, Pine Island. You know, even the video that I released, I called it, you know, how not to photograph this iconic location or whatever I called it, because it was the total wrong time. But when you do get some, you know, no wind, flat water, direct light, it's absolutely stunning. But there's one thing I want to ask you actually, and that is, and I've had a few comments on my video as well, as like, you know, did you do any drone footage? No, I didn't, but you did. Have you looked at your drone footage?
Nope.
Look at your drone footage and see how it turned out. Because you're lucky to still have a drone, because those damn electrical power lines that go straight across the middle of the scene.
Horrible.
You were very, very close to them, man. I know you say, I can see everything on the Mavic 3 Pro, like, but you were so close to them, man.
Yeah. Now, when I was flying the drone, I'm not joking, I could actually see them on the drone. They're that protruding into the image. They're disgusting, like, you know. So for whoever got planning permission to put them there should be shot, like, you know. I really don't understand it. You genuinely could have placed them somewhere else, but look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And now, I do know.
Go on.
I do know the drone footage when I was taking it, it did look fabulous. It'll definitely be used for video further down the line, whether I release a vlog on the rest of the trip, because I did release one video.
Yeah,
so
which is great.
You know, so I could release another one. Actually, you talking about the YouTube videos, you bumped into Norm McCluskey in Derry Clare, didn't you?
We met Norm twice, yeah. So
I know, yeah. I forgot about that.
We met him up in Keene Bay, and then we met him in Derry Clare. And actually, it was funny because I was just setting up the camera, and all I heard was his voice over my shoulder. I looked and went, "Oh Jesus, how's it going?" He goes, "Yeah, it's just as well I'm not stalking you, lads." I was like, "Well, Jesus Christ, like." You know? But like, yeah, Norm didn't even take the camera out of the bag. Probably the best decision that he made. I mean, I had the camera out trying to force an image from there, because I said, you know what, we're in Rome, we might as well do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, and you know, like, you mentioned there about your favorite image that you gotten, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to pick a favorite image that I gotten from that trip. There's probably one that I liked the most, which is one that I'd said when we were over in Achill and I had finished the curry and I said, right, get the camera out now because the moon is coming up. But you weren't listening to me and you just went off into something else. And I went, come on. You went, oh, look, there's the moon. I went, that's what I told you. There's a full moon coming up behind it. But that's probably the image that I like the most out of the trip there because the way that I composed the shot, it was just the moon coming up over the mountains, but there was a small derelict white house.
Yes.
And that's just sitting in the bottom of it. And I went, you know what? Yeah, that's begging to be shot. So that's probably my favorite shot out of a batch of images, which will probably never see anything other. They'll never go up on my website anyway, that's for sure.
Do you know what? My favorite image that you took of the whole trip was the picture of our vans.
Oh, yeah, the two vans on the edge. Yeah.
It was class. It's actually the screensaver on my computer. Like, it's unreal. I love it.
Well, you know, because I spent the time outside in the cold. You were just sitting there trying to figure out why your gammy iPhone fake watch keeps going the wrong way, and it's
stop it. I was cooking you a dinner. Stop it.
You were spending the whole time going, what's going on with this? Dharma, where are you facing there? I'm facing northwest. I'm facing southeast. So if there's any executives from Apple listening to this, which is doubtful, but if there is, you know, get in touch because Diarmuid's watch seems to be in Australia's own.
Yeah. Right. So, Darren, what was your favourite moment on the trip?
Oh, jeez. Favourite moment on the trip? Probably the fact that I picked up my camera and I realised that it wasn't broken. I still can't figure out how it fell. I really cannot figure, because you know me, I said, I on the beach,
it's
I always get my tripod. I stick the tripod legs down into the sand, always. It's habit. And it just fell over. I've no idea how it fell over.
It's the bench cheese.
And it's when I see the wave coming in towards it, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I picked it up. There was nothing broken. That was probably my favourite moment. What was yours?
Crohan, climbing it. It's just a feat of doing the third highest sea cliff in all of Europe. It was just it's a nice little feat, you know. Now,
the fact that I wasn't there in your ear the whole time was a bit of peace and quiet away from me, was it?
It was actually great, and I had my little snack bars in my pockets that I was eating the whole way up.
You had snack bars?
Yup.
I don't know if I'm going to go on a trip with you again, man. You for smuggling snack bars? No,
snack bars. Snack bars.
I'll give you a smack at a snack bar.
No,
did you enjoy it? Like, I mean, overall.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the first 2 days at Keene Bay. I absolutely hated Derry Clare. Yeah, I hated it. I hated it that much. I don't even want to go back.
Well, I think it summed up like when I was doing my piece of camera and I finished a piece of camera and then just Todd walks up. I'm done.
I saw that in the YouTube video. It was hilarious, actually. Oh my God.
I'm done. I was like, yeah. And I only just started, like, because I got to get the camera set up. Then I'd spent about 20 minutes talking to Norm, like, you know. I was like, I'm not going anywhere yet. Like, I have to take something. Like,
I don't care. I was done, Darren. I was just so upset. And genuinely, you couldn't even open your eyes for 2 minutes and your eyes were watering, like, you know. Well, I was
your ears.
Mine was out my ears, of course, yeah, but it was horrible, man.
If you haven't seen it already, you know, tune into my YouTube channel there, where you'll learn a number of things that are exclusively and unique to Diarmuid.
I keep you smiling all the time. I know I do.
This is true, boy. This is true. And you know what? Look, it was a really, really good trip. I enjoyed the time in Keene as well. You know, I think we probably could have explored a bit more. I mean, we had wanted to record this podcast
up there
on location.
Yeah.
But it was just too miserably cold. I mean, I was like, no, you know what? No. And with heaters in the vans and everything, like, but I mean, those heaters are great, except for the gas canisters weren't good.
Yes, yeah.
You know? And even since actually, you know, I was just down in Dingle, and it was cold, and I just went, okay, I'll get in, put the heater on for 5 minutes, job done.
Yeah. I got proper canisters for my one because myself and Taylor went away on a trip, and they were perfect, nice and warm inside the van the whole time. It was just bad canisters. Don't ever buy Summit butane gas cylinders from the Range, I think the name. Yeah, the Range. Don't buy Summit canisters from there. Honestly, they're so bad.
They suck.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
And also, speaking of us going on a trip, you know, we'll probably go on another trip anytime soon, but we're not going to go on a trip like we've gone on a trip before. You've got something new coming, haven't you?
Yep, I do.
What have you got coming? of gas, king of gas.
Ooh, I got a new van. Well, I have a new van coming.
A new van.
Yeah.
A new van. Go on, tell us more.
So I'm just finalizing the details and everything this week. So I should hopefully be driving, unless the deal falls through, whatever, be driving 2022 Ford Transit Custom, gunmetal grey.
Woo, look at you.
So I can't wait for it, to be honest, you know. So
wow. And is it a blank van or is it already kitted out?
It's more or less a blank van. It does have a spoiler and a set of alloys, but I'll be whipping those alloys off because they're too small for me. I need a set of 19s, you know what I mean, on my flashiness. And it's got a set of sidebars, all right.
You're going to get the spinners. You're going to get the spinners on the way.
Chrome spinners, kid.
1992 Redux. And there's nothing done in the back end of it, though. It's a panel van, so you're going to fit it all out.
Panel van, yeah.
Okay. So are you? So you just couldn't have me having the better van. You had to go one better than me, like, is it?
Absolutely. I told you. I said it straight out. You know, if I can. Yeah. Look, it is what it is. Don't be upset about it, okay?
No. We won't get bogged down in it, as you say yourself, like. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're going to have more trips. I think anyway. There'll be probably one more trip in the Renault.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll start moving over to the Ford. Yeah.
Well, I'll start moving over straight away. You know, but I'll be building that while I still have the Renault as well the whole time. So it's great. It's absolutely
Renault.
Oh, stop. We're not getting into this now. Come here. Actually, one thing I wanted to ask you, like, there was a restaurant in Achill Island which we went to for food, and the food there, I have to shout it out to them because they were unbelievable and the points are really nice as well, was Guilties. Is it Guilties? Yes. Genuinely, if you ever are in Achill Island, please go there, order a pint, order a bit of food, and it's this tiny little quaint little pub where you see all your locals in the corner talking about the match who won 7-0, and there's some guy talking about cannabis, and there's another fella talking about sooting a bit of turf and all this, or footing a bit of turf. It was great. It was lovely to be in there. You know, so if you're ever there, go to Guilties, order yourself a bit of food. Yeah,
I fully agree. Actually, I was going to mention it, but I couldn't remember the name of it. So fair play to you if you remember the name of it. Yeah, it was lovely, and it was right next to a nice warm fire.
Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, that was that trip, I suppose. And like I said, we wanted to do it when we were live on site. So apologies, we couldn't do it because my fingers were so cold I couldn't press the record button. That's the excuse I'll stick with anyway. So yeah, what's next, there? What are we going to do on the podcast next?
So I have some thoughts there coming up. So there's a segment that I'd like to introduce. This is, you haven't heard about this either, so this is
news to me. I got.
Excuse the pun. Rather than the news, we're actually going to do a segment called "Is This News?" So you'll pick one piece of thing that is on the news in the recent weeks, and you'll read out the article, and you'll ask me, is it worthy of being news or not? And we'll talk about that topic. We'll talk about the discussion, and then I will pick one then as well. Also,
is it photography related?
Oh, it has to be photography related.
All right. So you can't talk about Kim Kardashian's arse, no?
No, okay. Not at all.
Because I know you want to talk about that so much, like.
Not at all. I don't even like her.
You constantly talk about her to me.
I do not.
Breaking news.
Yeah. All right.
So I look forward to that one. Yeah. And look, we've got a very interesting guest as well now coming up in the next podcast as well, which I think people will enjoy the conversation on. And as you said earlier on as well, we've got a lot of plans as well now that you're back in the hot seat.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, thank you very much for listening to this week's episode of the Irish Photography Podcast. Please do subscribe. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get all your podcasts. And please do give us a 5-star review if you can. Not 4-star, 5-star. God damn it. And
we've only got one 4-star. The rest have been 5 stars. So it gives us a 4.9999 average.
Do you know what we should do, Darren? Every couple of weeks, we should do a 5-star review and talk about what the review was, what they said.
Another idea. Christ, you're unbelievable, boy. You're just free-flowing with ideas.
Yeah, we call it 5-star Friday. Boom! Oh, my God.
What about Friday feature, which I haven't done on Instagram in probably around 6 months?
What's that?
And actually, I forgot to do the Sunday showcase yesterday.
Feck off. That's a thing of the past now. We've a new leaf, a new book. So, yeah. All right. So, come on. Leave it at that. Thanks a million, Darren. Really appreciate it. And any last thoughts?
Nothing other than thanks very much for listening and listening to the two of us just rabbit on. And until the next time, from me in Cork to you in Limerick, Shlán go fóill.
Ayo.
Hey guys, if you dig what you're hearing, why don't you jump over to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and don't forget to share with your friends. With all that done, we'll see you next week. And remember, keep shooting.